Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at KIZUNA Clash vs Hawkins and putting together some teams for you guys to take down the new KIZUNA that will be dropping on Optc Global in just over 24 hours time. So, unfortunately for us Globarians, we aren't getting a co-op KIZUNA Clash like JP, as most of you guys know, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be farming this event. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be getting the most out of it and trying to get all of the rewards you possibly can from this particular KIZUNA. Now, Blackbeard V1, his Super Evolution has just dropped on OPTC Global as well. And to get his skulls, this is the only way to do it. So if you are looking to Super Evolve your Blackbeard, you definitely want to be farming up this event. And staying on top of your free stamina, obviously, is the best way to go about that. But for you guys, I do have like three. I'm probably going to do 3 teams for each color variation for this particular KIZUNA, as well as showing off my team that I'll be using as well. So, some of the boosted characters look a little bit like this. We have the new Zoro, Law, and Heart Pirates as boosted units. We do have the new Blackbeard as well. Kaido vs Big Mom, the Kaido vs Big Mom batch are all boosted as well. KIZUNA Kid, Treasure Map Kid, Nami Shinobu, Drake, the PvP unit, and Kamazo are all boosted units for this particular event. Obviously, we have the same restricted characters. And we are unsure if they are going to modify this particular KIZUNA, as it's meant to be a co-op. So I wouldn't get your hopes up that they are going to modify it, very similar to like KIZUNA Kid. But look, it is what it is. We just have to take what we have and make the most out of it, right? So with that said, let's hop into the teams. So for the first color variation of Hawkins, we're coming up against Dex Hawkins, and for Dex Hawkins, we get cooldown to a Strength, Dex, and Quick units. On stage 2, we come up against Holden and 2 mob members. They give us burn for 4 turns, and it's about a 5k burn per perfect. On turn 2, we're going to get 3 turns of bind, so you do want to try and make sure that you don't get to that stage. But with these teams, you should be able to get around that before turn 2. On stage 3 against Hawkins, he has full immunity, normal attacks only. He gives us a full board of unfavorable orbs, paralyzes us for 3 turns, and rewinds our specials for 1 turn. At level 70, we are going to get special binded for 5 turns, and on stage 140, the paralysis is going to become 5 turns. So I do have an honorary mention for this particular color variation and this color variation alone. This Sugar team, because it's basically burn and paralysis we have to get around, you can actually pretty much cheese it with Sugar. So you can use one Sugar special on turn 1 and then the other one on turn 3, and basically rely on the Sweet Generals to actually just output or give us all the buffs we need with Sugar's super typing. So because he's immune to special bind, at level 70, that's not going to matter too much. But the only way this team can truly function is if you do have the support of Brûlé. Brûlé is going to give us cooldowns. So after the special rewind, Brûlé is going to come in and actually just rewind our specials back for the Sweet Generals. You could easily put someone like Okiku on this particular team instead of Treble, as Okiku can give cooldowns as well. She can remove paralysis if you guys are missing Brûlé. We do have Marco and Ace on this particular team. We can just switch with them on the final stage, get a full board of orbs. And with the special of Curaçao, we can remove special bind. We can give cooldowns to our Cerebrals and Free Spirits. So we can get like a 2.75 times attack boost for our strength units. We can get color affinity with Sweet Generals, a chain boost. We have the orbs through a Sugar super typing. This team should work very, very well. And if you're looking for a cheese team, this team will do the job. The next team we have is a Snake Man team. This team functions best if you do have a friend Sabo. That way you can output the most damage, as you will have a better color affinity booster. But if you don't find a friend Sabo, you can easily just slap on the Rare Recruit Kid or the Rare Recruit Judge to give you color affinity that way. Luffy's going to be our orb booster, as well as give us a full board of orbs, which is super, super nice. With the support of Rayleigh and then utilizing double special from Okiku, Okiku can give us the cooldowns, and we can remove all the paralysis even at level 140, which is great. Next, we've got Marco and Ace. They're going to be our attack booster. You can use their switch ability too to get full board orbs, but Luffy will do the job nonetheless. Basically, they're here for a massive attack boost at 2.75. We've got Boa here to remove special bind when that actually comes around on stage 70. And then we've got Big Mom, Prometheus Zeus for a chain lock, as well as a base stat boost. So this team shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. The only downside I can see is maybe hitting those perfects, doing too much damage to lose out on the chain lock of Big Mom. But you could easily replace her with another chain locking unit if that does become an issue. The next team we have is a double Kaido team. This team should actually function with a friend Zoro, to be honest, if you do want to maximize your points. But Kaido being a 5 times captain to strength, dex, and instinct is very, very handy. You can use the one Kaido special on turn 2 and then bring the second Kaido for stage 3. that's going to work hunky-dory for a lot of damage. Next, we've got Marco on this team. He's going to be our color affinity booster, as he does it for powerhouse units. If you do have the sweet generals, you could easily use them, though, as they are a 2x color affinity to red, and they are a powerhouse unit as well. But otherwise, you could find another color affinity booster that way. You just want to try and make sure that they are powerhouse unit, as that's what King is going to give cooldowns for. So King can remove burn, he gives special charge to powerhouse units, and he can remove special bind. So he's going to be a god tier unit at level 170. That way he can just get around all the nasty defects. Next, we've got Don Krieg and Jin. They can remove the paralysis, which is great, which gets inflicted 5 turns on level 140. But with the support of a Kainu, they can actually give us a full board of strength orbs. The final unit on this team is Carrot. She's just a chain locker here. 2.75 is not too bad. She's a powerhouse unit as well, which helps out quite a bit. Now, if you guys don't see any supports, obviously that just means just fill them out with stat boosters. I'm not going to go through them. It just takes too long to put them all in and stuff like that. But the final team is the team I'll be using, which is led by Double Zoro. Zoro's a 5x captain in this particular Kizuna, as he is the boosted unit. He's an orb booster. He can root despair. He gives cooldowns to powerhouse and slashes as well, which is very, very good. Then we've got Kaido on this particular team. You could run Kaido as your captain if you really want to, and then bring like Zoro as a sub. I think Zoro as a sub is no. So bring Zoro as a sub, bring him as a captain. It's not going to matter too much. Next, we've got Sachi, Beppo, and Penguin. They're here to remove the paralysis. They're going to give us a full board of quick orbs as well. Then we've got King on this team again. He's just an absolute god, especially if you are going to those high levels, as he can give cooldowns, special bind removal, and burn removal, which is great. And then finally, I do have this Cavendish. Now, this Cavendish can give us a 2.75 times chain lock, and is going to make quick orbs matching for our entire crew. And because Sachi and Penguin give us a full board of quick orbs, it's actually going to mean that we do have a full board of matching orbs, which is great. And then I've just got the support of Kid or Judge, whoever you guys have, just to get a little bit of color affinity for our strength units. Let me know in the comment section below if there is a powerhouse unit. The only one that I could find was Oven, which I don't actually have, which is a little bit of a bummer, as if I could put a powerhouse color affinity booster on this particular team, I definitely would. So they're my strength teams, guys. Let's hop on to the next variation against the quick version of Basil Hawkins. So moving on to the quick variation now against Hawkins. Cooldowns for powerhouse, slashes, and fighter units. And on stage 2, we come up against page 1 and 2 mob enemies. Now, page 1 has a 2-turn barrier for 3 perfect hits, and on turn 2 he will empty out all your orbs, and I'm pretty sure he locks them as well. On stage 3 against Hawkins, he has delay immunity, normal attacks only. He puts up % damage for 3 turns. He binds our bottom row for 5 and gives us a full board of block orbs. At level 70, he will turn the rainbow shield into 5 turns and increase the bind to 8. So with sockets, the 8 will go down to 5, and the 5 turns will go down to 2 turns. So the first team that I have for you guys here utilizes Laffy as our captain and a friend Kid. The way this team functions is you kind of need to bring a Kid friend. That way you can actually get around the block orb mechanic. Otherwise, if you have Brûlé for the early stages, you could use Brûlé and then bring a Zoro friend captain. That could also work as well. Next, we've got Judge on this team. He's going to be our color affinity booster. He does remove chain lock though, so it is very, very important that you actually use this Sabo special first. Sabo is going to be an orb booster and a chain lock. But before you use the Sabo special, to get your most amount of damage, you do want to use the Luffy Law special first. As you can see, we do have some supports here. We are using Rayleigh on our Luffy Law. You could use Corazon as well to remove some binds. And on our Sabo, we are using Ace. So that way we can get around the bind without actually having to bring someone to remove that. The other units we have on this particular team, we are using Praline to remove the damage reduction, or the % damage reduction. So she can remove that by 5 turns, which is the max that it will increase to. And with this support of Aladdin, you can actually get all the orbs required to actually use Jinbei. And then Jinbei will make all those orbs matching, as well as giving us a 2.25 times attack boost. So the way this team works is you do need to pop the super typing of Kid to get a full board of bomb orbs. Then you can use the Luffy and Law special to get the orb boost. Then you can use the Judge special to give us color affinity. Remove the damage reduction with Praline, get an attack booster with Jinbei, and then finally finish off with Sabo. Actually, I think I stuffed that up in the first part of the recording, but you do want to make sure you use Sabo last. Very important that you use Sabo after the Judge special. Apologies if I stuffed that up, but this team should have a lot of damage. It shouldn't have any issues moving forward. On to the next team now. We are utilizing a V2 Mihawk team. Now, this team can definitely function with a friend Zoro, But if you do have two Mihawks, you are going to, I imagine you're going to do a little bit more damage with that whole chain boosting mechanic. He's also an orb booster, provided we have Dex and in slots. But with this particular team, we can actually get a full board of orbs with Karina on the final stage. She's going to remove some damage reduction as well as changing those block orbs as well. We have Pedro on this particular team, as we are running all slashes, so we can get the conditional boost as the enemy is not immune to defense down. He can set the defense to 0 and give a conditional buff as well. He's very, very strong. Next, we've got Zoro and Sanji, probably the only time I'm ever going to use this unit, to be honest. They can give us a 2.75 times attack boost, provided our HP is at max, or at like 99% or above. So that's going to be very, very nice. And then finally, we've got Law here. Law can also remove some damage reduction, as well as give a chain boost, as our captain is Dex, which is really, really good. The supports on this team, we are using Corazon on our Law. We do have Neko on the Pedro, and then we have the Nami on our Zoro and Sanji. That way we can actually get around all the blind with sockets. It's going to remove like 9 turns of blind, which is super, super handy. And this team's going to put out a lot of damage, as it obviously is based around back-ended damage. And with that chain buff from Law as well, and the chain multiplier from Mihawk, we have an attack boost, we have an orb boost, we have a conditional boost. The only thing this team really lacks is actually color affinity, but I imagine there's probably a support that I'm missing somewhere that you could actually add on to get color affinity as well. The only one that I could think of was Zoro, but we're already using Zoro, so that makes it hard. The final team is the team that I'm going to be using. This team is subject to change. I do need to sort of get a feel for the content before I like finalize my teams, as you probably gathered with the Dex team comp earlier in the video. But we are using Zoro as our captain. He is a 5x leader for slashes and powerhouse units, which is great. And then I've also got Sachi, Penguin, and Beppo on this team as well. That way I can maximize my ticket gains. I do have Vinsmoke Niji, the 5+ of the original kids, as he's going to be a chain multiplier, as our captain is Dex. He also does a bunch of other stuff because we're powerhouse, but that doesn't matter too much. He's just here for the chain lock. And then we're going to be using the Praline with support Aladdin again, and utilizing Jinbei to get our attack boost. That way we'll have a full board of orbs, as Sachi and Beppo can remove block orbs as well. They'll turn them into block as quick, and will remove the blind for me. So this team should have a lot of points. I don't imagine having too many issues moving forward. But like I said at the beginning, getting to like level 70 and 140 without this being a co-op Kizuna, I don't see too many people doing that. So they may change that to 30 and below, but we'll have to wait and see when the content actually drops. So let's move on to the next variation now against the Psy color of Basil Hawkins. So the next variation of Hawkins is the Psy variation. So against Hawkins, you get cooldowns for Dex, Quick, and Int on this particular variation. On stage 2, we come up against Drake and 2 of his mob members that give defense up for 4 turns, and then on turn 2, they do a chain down. Now, I'm not entirely sure how big that defense up is. For these particular teams, I'm going to try and blast my way through it, but we'll have to wait and see. So stay tuned for the playthrough video to see how that goes. On stage 3, we come up against Hawkins, who has full immunity, normal attacks only. He gets 5 turns of Despair, 3 turns of Attack Down, and 3 turns of Threshold. At level 70, that Attack Down becomes 5 turns, and at level 140, the Threshold becomes 5 turns. Now, I'm not sure if they are going to change that, like I have been rambling on for this entire video, but at the moment, that's the information we have. So that's the information I'm going to go off. It may change to 30, but like I said, we'll have to wait and see, as this is not a co-op Kizuna. So the first team I have for you guys is the double Big Mom team. With Big Mom's special, we should be able to blast our way through that defense up. But with these particular teams, we do have chain lockers on all of them, so we should be able to get around the chain down if we do need to take a couple more turns on X-Drake. On to the next unit we have is our Neptune. He can remove Attack Down and Despair, which is very, very handy. He's also an Orb Booster, but we should have the carryover effect of Big Mom for that. So that way we can get a Orb boosted that way. Next we've got Boa and Luffy. You can replace this unit, as we do have another color affinity. This is the unit that I will replace if I do need to remove defense up. But they are at 2.25 times color affinity and give us full board of orbs, which is super, super handy. Next we've got a Timer. She can remove Threshold, and she gives a color affinity boost as well. So if we do need that defense up, we'll take Luffy and Boa off and replace them with a defense up remover. And then finally we have Page 1, as he can be our chain locker. Super, super handy. Most of these units are all powerhouse and cerebral, which is great. So if we struggle on that stage 2, we can have the orb boost from Neptune there for us as well. So that's the Big Mom team. We do have the support of Parasparrow here. If you have him, it's just going to make it easier to find a 2-turn defense remover that may be able to give some sort of buff as well, but he's not essential. The next team we have is the Super Type Katakuri team. Now, the way this team functions best is to use a V4 Law friend or Halloween Law or a super type Blackbeard. That would be your best options. But utilizing Katakuri as our leader, he's basically a god for Kizunas, as he can get the delay mechanic off, where most other characters can't, as he goes through immunity. So he's also an attack booster, which is great. But on this particular team, I do have Shanks. Shanks is going to give us a 0.9 chain buff. He's also going to give us a full board of orbs, and he's going to give us a bigger attack boost. So you do want to use him before you use Katakuri, but you could easily replace him with like an orb booster or something like that if you aren't bringing a Law friend. But Law's great because he can remove the Despair, but if you don't have Law, you can use the support of Opera on your Katakuri to actually remove Despair that way. Next, we've got Croc. Croc's a 2x color affinity booster as well as removing attack down, which is super handy. We have Reiju to remove the Threshold. Very, very good unit. She also gets conditional boost, but unfortunately, we won't be able to get that off. And then finally, we have the Chain Locker in Nami, as well as reducing our HP, so that way we can pop off Katakuri. So as I mentioned, this team should do a lot of damage. With a Blackbeard friend or a Law friend, it's going to work best. But like I said, you could replace this Shanks with another unit to give you orbs and a full board orbs if you can find one. That should work fine, but the way that you want to get your most damage is by utilizing a Blackbeard or a Law friend. The final team is the team I'll be using. Double Zoro, he removes Despair, he gives cooldowns, which is great. He's an orb booster and a 5x captain for this particular Kizuna. We have Beppo, Sachi, and Penguin. They can remove Threshold for us, and they're going to change all of our orbs into Quick, which is a bit of... It doesn't really matter too much, as we do have Sober Mask on this team. He's going to be our attack booster. We can pop him off twice, so we get the 2.5 times attack. Then we've got Big Mom, Prometheus, and Zeus for a chain lock, as well as a base stat boost. And finally, we have Jack here to remove attack down. He's boosted, and he's got color affinity. That's really the big reason why he's here. You can replace him with another attack down remover. Someone like Bobbins works really, really well if you are missing Beppo, Sanji, and Penguin, as he can remove attack down and threshold as well. So they're my teams against the side variation, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Late.